Jazz. Have you ever looked into someone's eyes and believed they would never hurt you? I did, and that was the biggest mistake of my life. People always say heartbreak comes with warning signs. Jazz. They tell you there are little moments you ignore. Strange messages, cold conversations, late nights at work that don't make sense. Maybe that's true. Jazz. Maybe I just didn't want to believe the man I had loved for 6 years was already planning a life without me. My name is Emma. At 29, I thought I had everything figured out. A steady job, a cozy apartment, and a man named Ryan who had promised me forever more times than I could count. We weren't rich, we weren't famous, but we laughed together. We dreamed together. Jazz. Every Sunday morning we made pancakes while old music played in the kitchen. Every Friday night we watched terrible movies just so we could make fun of them together. It wasn't a perfect life, Jazz. It was ours, at least, that's what I believed. One rainy Tuesday evening I came home earlier than usual because my office had closed after a power outage. Jazz. I remember smiling as I unlocked the apartment door. I wanted to surprise Ryan with his favorite pasta. Instead, I found him sitting quietly on the couch. No television, no music, no smile, just silence. Something felt wrong the second our eyes met. "You're home early," he said. His voice sounded empty. "I thought I'd surprise you. I think we need to talk." Jazz. Those 5 words froze my heart. Everyone knows what they usually mean. I slowly put the grocery bags on the kitchen counter. My hands were shaking. "What happened?" He rubbed his face before speaking. "Jazz, I don't think this relationship is working anymore." For a moment, I honestly thought he was joking. I even laughed. Very funny. But he didn't laugh back. Instead, he looked at the floor. "Jazz, I'm serious." The room suddenly felt smaller. "What did I do?" "You didn't do anything." "Then why?" "I've changed." People always say that I've changed. Jazz. It's the sentence people use when they don't have the courage to tell the truth. I walked closer. "We can fix this." He slowly shook his head. "No." "What happened?" Jazz. "I just don't love you the same anymore." Those words hit harder than anything I had ever heard. 6 years, reduced to one sentence. I begged him to explain. I asked if someone else was involved. Jazz. He looked away before answering. There isn't anything left to explain. But his eyes betrayed him. There was someone else. I could feel it. That night I packed a small suitcase. Jazz. Not because I wanted to leave, because staying hurt too much. As I closed the apartment door behind me, I kept hoping he would stop me. He didn't. Not one word, not one step. Nothing. Jazz. The next morning I woke up on my older sister Lily's couch. She handed me a cup of coffee before sitting beside me. So what? Tell me everything." The words came out between tears. "Jazz, I wasn't enough." She immediately grabbed my hand. "Don't ever say that again." "But if I was enough, he wouldn't have left." "No, Emma." She looked straight into my eyes. "Jazz, people don't leave because someone isn't enough. They leave because they stop appreciating what they already have." I wanted to believe her, but heartbreak doesn't listen to logic. Jazz. For the next 2 weeks, I barely left the house. Food had no taste. Music sounded empty. Even sunshine felt cold. Every notification made my heart race. Maybe Ryan had changed his mind. Jazz. Maybe he missed me. Maybe nothing. No message, no call, no apology. Just silence. Then, one Saturday afternoon, everything became even worse. Jazz. I was scrolling through social media when a new photo appeared. Ryan standing beside another woman, his arm wrapped around her waist, both of them smiling. The caption said, "Jazz, sometimes life surprises you with the right person." The photo had been posted only 14 days after we broke up. 14 days. My entire body went numb. I stared at the screen. Jazz. Hoping my eyes were lying. They weren't. He hadn't moved on. He had already moved on long before he ended our relationship. The comments were even worse. You two look perfect together, Jazz. Finally found your soulmate. So happy for you. Nobody knew I had existed just weeks earlier. I felt erased, like 6 years of memories had been deleted with one picture. Jazz. I threw my phone across the room. It hit the wall before falling onto the carpet. Lily rushed in. What happened? I couldn't speak. I simply handed her the phone. She looked at the picture, then back at me. Her face turned pale. Oh, I wasn't replaced in 2 weeks. She slowly nodded. No, I was replaced months ago. That realization hurt more than the breakup itself. Jazz. He hadn't suddenly fallen in love. He had been building a new future while pretending ours still mattered. That night, I cried harder than I ever had, not because I wanted Ryan back, Jazz, but because I realized the man I loved probably hadn't existed for a long time. The next morning, I made a promise to myself. I would stop checking his social media. I would stop wondering who she was, Jazz. I would stop asking why, because none of those questions would change what had happened. What I didn't know was that life was about to reveal a truth far bigger than another woman, Jazz. A truth that would completely change the way I remembered those 6 years. And when that secret finally came to light, Ryan wouldn't be the only one living with regret, Jazz. The hardest part about heartbreak isn't always losing someone. Sometimes it's waking up every morning and remembering that the future you planned no longer exists. For weeks, I lived on autopilot, Jazz. I went to work. I smiled when people expected me to smile. I answered questions with, "I'm fine." But I wasn't fine. Every street reminded me of Ryan. The little coffee shop where we had our first date, Jazz. The park where he promised we'd grow old together. Even the grocery store felt painful, because I remembered arguing over which cereal to buy, Jazz. It was amazing how someone could disappear from your life, but still be everywhere. Lily refused to let me stay trapped in my sadness. Every weekend she found a reason to get me out of the apartment, Jazz. Sometimes we went walking, sometimes we watched movies. Sometimes we sat quietly with coffee and talked about everything except Ryan. She never forced me to move on, Jazz. She simply reminded me that life hadn't stopped. One evening she looked at me and smiled. "You know what I miss?" "What?" "The old Emma. I don't think she's coming back." Lily shook her head. "No, Jazz. She's becoming someone even stronger." I wanted to believe her, but strength felt impossible. Until one unexpected phone call changed everything. It was almost 6 in the evening when my phone rang, Jazz. The number wasn't saved. "Hello? Emma?" "Yes, this is Daniel." For a second I couldn't remember who Daniel was. Then it hit me. Ryan's former business partner. I had only met him a few times, Jazz. He sounded nervous. "Can we meet?" "Why? It's important." "What is it about?" "I'd rather tell you in person." Every instinct told me to say no. I didn't want anything connected to Ryan anymore, Jazz. But something in Daniel's voice didn't sound like gossip. It sounded like guilt. The next afternoon we met at a quiet cafe. Daniel looked exhausted. Dark circles surrounded his eyes, Jazz. He wrapped both hands around his coffee before speaking. "I owe you an apology." I frowned. "For what?" "I knew something was wrong months ago." My heart skipped a beat. "What do you mean?" He sighed, "Jazz, I saw Ryan getting close to another woman." The words hit like ice. I thought maybe they were just friends. He paused, but they weren't. I looked down at my untouched coffee. "Jazz, I already know he cheated." Daniel slowly shook his head. "No, you don't know everything." Silence filled the table. He reached into his backpack and placed a small notebook in front of me. "Jazz, this belonged to our business." I looked confused. "What does this have to do with me?" He pushed it closer. "Open it." My hands trembled. Inside were payment records, meeting schedules, note, Jazz. Then I noticed something strange. Several large payments had been made from Ryan's account. The dates matched weekends when he told me he was working overtime. Instead, he had been paying for expensive trips, luxury hotels, fancy restaurants, everything. None of them included me. I felt sick every late meeting, every business dinner, every work emergency. They had all been lies. Daniel lowered his voice. He wasn't just hiding another relationship. He was living two different lives. I couldn't breathe. The memories started replaying. The birthdays he missed, the vacations he cancelled, the nights he came home tired. None of it had been real. He hadn't been busy. He had been with her. I closed the notebook. I don't understand. Why are you telling me this now? Daniel looked ashamed. Because I should have warned you. I kept thinking it wasn't my place. I was wrong. For the first time, I wasn't crying. I was angry. Not the loud kind of anger, the quiet kind, the dangerous kind, the kind that changes people forever. That night I couldn't sleep. Instead of remembering our happy moments, I started remembering the lies. The time he forgot our anniversary, the weekend he cancelled our trip, the strange perfume on his jacket, the hidden phone calls. Everything suddenly made sense. The truth hurt, but something surprising happened. For the first time since the breakup, I stopped blaming myself. It wasn't because I wasn't enough. It was because he had stopped being honest. There is a huge difference. A few days later, I received another surprise. An email. The sender's name caught my attention immediately. Ryan. My heart raced. For several minutes I couldn't open it. When I finally did, it contained only one sentence. I hope you're doing okay. That was it. No apology, no explanation, no responsibility. Just 7 empty words. I stared at the screen. Months of lies, years of pretending. And all he could say was, I hope you're doing okay. For the first time, I didn't cry. Instead, I smiled, not because I was happy. Because I finally understood something. He wasn't sorry. He was checking whether I was still waiting, whether I still cared, whether the door was still open. I closed the email without replying. Then I deleted it. It felt like deleting the last piece of hope I had been holding on to. The following weekend, Lily dragged me to a local community event. I don't want to go. Exactly why we're going. There'll be too many people. So, I'll probably see someone who knows Ryan. Lily smiled, then let them see the woman who's standing back up. I laughed for the first time in weeks. It wasn't a big laugh, but it was real. At the event, I wandered through small booths filled with handmade art, books, and local businesses. One booth caught my attention. A woman about my age was giving a talk about starting an online business after losing her job. She spoke with confidence, not because life had been easy, because it hadn't. She talked about failure, about rebuilding, about refusing to let one painful chapter define the rest of her story. Every word felt like it was meant for me. When the talk ended, I walked over to thank her. She smiled warmly. You look like someone who's carrying a heavy heart. I laughed awkwardly. Is it that obvious? It used to be me. We talked for nearly an hour, before leaving. She handed me a business card. If you're ever ready to build something for yourself, call me. I slipped the card into my pocket. I had no idea that one small conversation would completely change my future. That evening, I stood in front of my bedroom mirror. For weeks I had only seen someone broken, someone abandoned, someone replaced. But now, I saw something different, a woman who had survived, a woman who had learned the truth, a woman who still had an entire future waiting for her. Ryan had taken years from my life, but he wasn't going to take the years ahead. I looked at my reflection and whispered, you don't need him anymore. It was the first promise I made to myself that I truly believed. Outside, the rain had finally stopped. For the first time in months, The sky was clear, and somehow, so was my heart, Jazz. But I had no idea that rebuilding my life would soon bring me face to face with the one thing Ryan never expected. The woman he thought would never rise again, Jazz. People think healing happens one day at a time. For me, it happened one decision at a time. The decision to get out of bed. The decision to stop checking Ryan's social media, Jazz. The decision to believe that my life wasn't over just because one chapter had ended. None of those choices felt important in the moment, but together, they changed everything, Jazz. A week after the community event, I looked at the business card the woman had given me. Her name was Sophia. For 3 days, I carried the card in my purse. Every time I looked at it, doubt whispered in my ear. What if you fail? What if you're not good enough? What if Ryan was right to leave? Then another voice answered. What if this is your chance, Jazz? Before I could change my mind, I picked up my phone and called her. She answered on the second ring. I was wondering when you'd call. Her confidence made me smile. You remembered me, Jazz. I remember people who look like they're ready to change their lives. Sophia invited me to a small workshop she held every Saturday. There were only 8 people in the room. Some had lost their jobs, Jazz. Some had gone through divorce. Some simply wanted a fresh start. For the first time in months, I didn't feel alone. Everyone there was rebuilding something, including me, Jazz. Sophia walked to the front and wrote one sentence on a whiteboard. Your past explains you. It doesn't control you. I couldn't stop staring at those words. It felt like she was talking directly to me, Jazz. Over the next few weeks, I learned skills I had never imagined learning. Marketing, writing, speaking with confidence, managing online projects. Every lesson challenged me, Jazz. Every mistake taught me something new. Some nights I stayed awake until 2 in the morning practicing. Other nights I wanted to quit. Whenever that happened, Jazz, Lily would walk into my room carrying 2 mugs of hot chocolate. She'd sit beside me without saying a word. Finally, she'd smile. Still thinking about giving up? I don't know if I'm good enough, she laughed. Do you know what every successful person has in common? What? They all started as beginners. I laughed. You're becoming very wise. I watch motivational videos, Jazz. We both burst into laughter. It felt good, really good. 3 months passed. For the first time since the breakup, I wasn't surviving anymore. I was growing. My confidence slowly returned, Jazz. I started dressing differently, not to impress anyone, to remind myself that I deserved to feel confident. I cut my hair shorter, bought a few new outfits, started going for morning walks, Jazz. It wasn't about looking different. It was about feeling different. And somehow, I did. One afternoon, Sophia called with exciting news. I have a client who needs help managing a new online brand. I've never done that before. You've trained for months. What if I mess it up? She laughed. You probably will. I blinked. What? And then you'll learn. That answer made me smile, Jazz. She wasn't expecting perfection. She was expecting effort. I accepted the opportunity. It was scary, but it felt right. The project was harder than I expected. There were long hours, unexpected problems, Jazz. Deadlines that seemed impossible. More than once I wanted to cry, but every challenge I solved made me stronger. Little by little, the business began growing. The client was thrilled, Jazz. Then another client arrived. Then another. Within a year, I wasn't just helping businesses. I had started my own small consulting company. Nothing huge, Jazz. Just enough to pay my bills and finally rent a beautiful apartment of my own. The first night I moved in, I stood in the empty living room. There was only a couch, a lamp, and a tiny dining table, Jazz. Most people would have seen an unfinished apartment. I saw freedom. Everything in that room belonged to me. No painful memories, no broken promises, just new beginnings. Jazz. Lily visited that evening carrying pizza. She looked around and smiled proudly. "You did it, we did it." She hugged me tightly. "I always knew you'd make it." I shook my head. "I didn't, Jazz." She looked at me with tears in her eyes. That's why I believed enough for both of us. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Some people save your life without ever realizing it, Jazz. Lily was one of those people. Life became busy. Months turned into another year. Ryan slowly became someone I rarely thought about. Not because I had forgiven him, Jazz. Because he no longer controlled my happiness. Then, one ordinary Tuesday morning, everything changed again. I was leaving a meeting when my phone buzzed. It was a message from an old college friend. "Is this your ex?" Below the message was a screenshot. Ryan had commented on one of my company's social media posts. "Congratulations. Proud of everything you've achieved." I stared at the screen. Why now? After almost 2 years of silence, why now? I ignored it. An hour later, another message appeared, this time from Ryan himself. "Hi Emma. It's been a long time, Jazz." I locked my phone without replying. That evening, Sophia noticed I seemed distracted. "Everything okay?" My ex messaged me. "The famous Ryan?" I nodded. "What did he say?" "Nothing important." "And, Jazz?" I didn't answer. Sophia smiled. "Good. You don't owe your past another chance." A few days later, I attended a business networking event. The room was filled with entrepreneurs, investors, Jazz, and local business owners. As I finished my presentation, people gathered around to congratulate me. While thanking everyone, I noticed someone standing near the back of the room. My heart stopped. Ryan, Jazz. He looked exactly the same, yet somehow completely different. The confidence he once carried was gone. His smile looked forced. His suit was expensive, but his eyes looked tired. For several seconds, we simply stared at each other. Finally, he walked toward me. "Emma." I remained calm. "Hi, Ryan. You look amazing. Thank you. I've been trying to reach you." "I know." "You never replied, Jazz." I didn't think there was anything left to say. He lowered his eyes. "I just wanted to congratulate you." I smiled politely. "I appreciate that." An awkward silence followed. Jazz. The man who once had endless words suddenly couldn't find any. Then he quietly asked, "Would you like to have coffee sometime?" I looked at him for a long moment. Jazz. This was the moment I had imagined during countless sleepless nights. The moment I thought would bring satisfaction. Instead, I felt nothing. No anger, no excitement, no hope. Just peace, Jazz. I smiled gently. "I hope life treats you well, Ryan." Then I walked away. I didn't look back, not once. As I stepped outside into the cool evening air, I realized something that surprised even me, Jazz. The greatest revenge wasn't making him jealous. It wasn't making him suffer. It was becoming someone who no longer needed his approval. But I didn't know that Ryan's sudden return wasn't a coincidence, Jazz. His perfect new life was beginning to fall apart. And soon, the truth behind his regret would finally come to light. When Ryan asked me to have coffee, I thought that would be the end of it, Jazz. I was wrong. Some stories don't end when people walk away. They end when the truth finally catches up with them. For the next 2 weeks, life went back to normal. I buried myself in work, Jazz. Our company had grown from a tiny home office into a small team of 12 people. We weren't the biggest agency in the city, but clients trusted us because we treated them with honesty, Jazz. That mattered to me. After everything I had been through, honesty wasn't just a value, it was a promise. One Monday morning, our team celebrated signing our biggest client yet. There were balloons, coffee, and far too many donuts. Everyone was laughing when Sophia raised her cup. To Emma, I looked around confused. "What did I do?" She smiled. "You created a company where people feel respected, Jazz." The team clapped. I felt my face turn red. Just 2 years earlier, I had believed my life was over. Now I was leading a team that believed in me. Life really could change. That afternoon, Jazz, I received another message from Ryan. I'm sorry to bother you again. I just wanted 5 minutes to talk. I stared at the screen. 5 minutes, it sounded harmless, Jazz. But I knew those 5 minutes weren't about closure. They were about guilt. I deleted the message without replying. A few days later, I met Daniel for lunch. Jazz. He had become a good friend over the past year. After we ordered our food, he hesitated. I wasn't sure if I should tell you this. What is it? It's about Ryan. I sighed. I'd rather not hear about him. I understand. He paused. But I think you should know. I nodded. Go ahead. Daniel took a deep breath. The company he left ours for closed 6 months ago. I blinked. What? He invested everything into a business with his new partner. And it failed. I didn't say anything. He lost most of his savings. I looked out the window. Jazz. A strange feeling settled inside me. I wasn't happy. I wasn't sad. I just felt sorry for the choices he had made. Daniel continued. Things between him and Claire aren't going well either. Claire. Jazz. So that was her name. The woman he left you for. I quietly stirred my coffee. They argue all the time. They blame each other for everything. I remembered the smiling photos they used to post online. Jazz. Perfect vacations. Perfect dinners. Perfect life. Funny how social media only showed the highlights, never the truth. That evening, I came home and found Lily watering the flowers on my balcony. Jazz. She looked at me and smiled. You've been thinking. Is it that obvious? She laughed. You always stare at the sky when something's on your mind. I sat beside her. Jazz. I found out Ryan's life isn't going well, and I thought hearing that would make me happy. But it didn't. Lily nodded. That's because you've healed. What do you mean? Jazz. When you're still hurting, you want revenge. She looked at me warmly. When you've healed, you stop needing it. Her words stayed with me all night. Maybe real healing wasn't forgetting. Jazz. Maybe it was no longer wishing someone else's life would fall apart. 3 days later, something unexpected happened. I was giving a presentation at a local business conference. Jazz. The room was filled with over 100 people. As I stepped onto the stage, I felt nervous. Then I remembered where I had started. A broken woman crying on her sister's couch. Compared to that, Jazz. Speaking wasn't scary. The presentation lasted 40 minutes. When it ended, the audience stood and applauded. I couldn't believe it. People lined up afterward to shake my hand. Jazz. One older businessman smiled and said, "You have an inspiring story." I thanked him. As the crowd slowly disappeared, I noticed someone standing near the exit. Ryan, Agan. He wasn't smiling this time. Jazz. He looked exhausted. He waited until everyone else had left. "Congratulations," he said quietly. "Thank you. I watched your presentation. I know. You've changed." I smiled softly. I had to. Jazz. He lowered his head. "So have I." There was something different about his voice, the confidence, the pride. It was gone. He looked like a man carrying years of regret. I made a terrible mistake. Jazz. I remained silent. I thought the grass was greener somewhere else. He laughed bitterly. It wasn't. For a moment, I almost felt sorry for him. Then I remembered all the nights I had cried alone. Jazz. All the lies, all the broken promises. Not because I wanted revenge, but because I finally understood something. Regret doesn't erase the pain someone caused. Ryan looked at me. Jazz. I've wanted to say this for a long time. I'm sorry. I was selfish. I took your love for granted. I thought you'd always be there. His eyes filled with tears. I was wrong. Jazz. The younger version of me would have waited years to hear those words. But now, they didn't change anything. I answered honestly. I accept your apology. Hope appeared in his eyes. Jazz. Then I finished my sentence. But that doesn't mean we can go back. His shoulders dropped. I know. I just needed you to know. I nodded. I do. There was nothing else to say. Jazz. He turned and slowly walked away. This time, he was the one hoping someone would stop him. I didn't that night. I stood on my apartment balcony, looking over the city lights. The wind was cool, streets below were busy, life kept moving. My phone buzzed. It was Sophia. Big news, we won the National Business Award. I covered my mouth in shock. What? She immediately called. We won, Emma. Jazz. We actually won. I laughed so hard I started crying. Not tears of sadness, tears of gratitude, for every painful moment that had led me here, for every person who believed in me. Jazz. For every morning I chose not to give up. Sometimes the life you cry over losing is only making room for the life you're meant to have. I looked up at the stars and smiled. Jazz. Ryan had once been the center of my world. Now, he was only one chapter in a much bigger story. And although I thought our paths would never cross again, Jazz, life had one final surprise waiting for both of us. A surprise that would prove success isn't measured by what you achieve, but by the person you become. Jazz. A week after winning the National Business Award, my life became busier than ever. New clients called every day. Invitations to speak at business events filled my calendar. Jazz. The little company I had started with fear and hope was now growing faster than I had ever imagined. One Friday afternoon, I received an invitation to an entrepreneurship gala. Jazz. Business owners from across the country would be there. As I walked into the ballroom that evening, I couldn't help but smile. 2 years ago, I had walked into rooms hoping someone would notice me. Now, Jazz. I walked in simply being myself. The host welcomed everyone before announcing the first award of the night. And this year's Inspirational Entrepreneur Award goes to, he paused, Emma Carter. Jazz. For a second, I couldn't move. The room filled with applause as I slowly walked onto the stage. Standing under the bright lights, I looked across the audience. Then I saw him, Ryan. Jazz. He was standing near the back of the room. He wasn't clapping loudly, he wasn't smiling, he was simply watching. There was no anger in his eyes anymore. Only regret. Jazz. I accepted the award and took a deep breath. I used to believe success meant proving someone wrong, I said. But life taught me something much more important. The room became completely silent. Jazz. The greatest success isn't making the people who hurt you regret losing you. It's becoming so happy that you no longer need their regret. Many people nodded, some even wiped away tears. Jazz. When I stepped off the stage, Ryan quietly approached me. Congratulations, he said. Thank you. He looked at the award in my hands before speaking again. I always believed you'd do something amazing. I smiled gently. I wish you had believed that while we were together. He lowered his head. I know. I can't change the past. No, I replied softly. But you can learn from it. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Finally, he looked at me one last time. I hope you find someone who deserves you. I smiled. I already found the most important person. He looked confused. Who? Myself. Jazz. A small smile appeared on his face. I guess that's why you've changed. I nodded, and I hope you find peace too. He thanked me before quietly walking away. This time, I didn't feel hurt. Jazz. I didn't feel angry. I simply wished him well. As I left the ballroom, Lily was waiting outside with the biggest smile on her face. You did it, she whispered. I laughed. We did it, Jazz. She wrapped me in a hug. Looking up at the night sky, I realized something I wished I had known years ago. Sometimes the people who leave your life aren't taking your future away, Jazz. They're making space for a better one. And that was the greatest victory of all.